Okay. Hello, everyone. Good evening, and a very warm welcome to this professional virtual webinar entitled as Importance of Data Science in the Fourth Industrial Revolution. How can we be prepared? Organized by IEEE Women in Engineering Lahore section, IEEE Connect College Student Branch, and Expertech Learning Association for Professionals and Students. First of all, I would like to make an announcement that two attendance sheets will be shared during the webinar. One will be shared in a few minutes, and the other one will be shared at 6:30. E-certificates will be awarded to those participants who will mark their attendance in both sheets. Now I would like to welcome our honorable guest speaker, Mr. Zain Asif, and thank him for sparing some of his precious time for us. Mr.
Thank
Zain
you so
Asif
much.
holds a bachelor. Mr. Zain Asif holds a bachelor's degree in computer science and a master's degree in data science. He has over 10 years of industry experience and is also teaching as a visiting lecturer at different universities. He is currently serving in the capacity of founder and CEO of Quantum IT Consulting. He has been experimenting with startups since 2013. Industries like manufacturing, telecommunications, financial sector, retail, wholesaler, oil and gas, energy and power, and some of the industrial sectors that have come across the experience. He holds a Darsan-e-Nizami degree with the Academy of Arabic Sciences under the HILP program. He is a motivational speaker for the youth and industrial consultant for the business community. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us.
Thank you so
Mr.
much for
Zahan, the
having me
floor
on
is
board.
yours.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure always to be back. So, like, if you can see my screen, just let me know. I'll just start sharing my screen. If you can see it, just let me know.
Okay, it is visible.
All right. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum to all my Muslim brothers and sisters attending the webinar. As mentioned, that the introduction that I have been given is like I hold a bachelor's in computer science and a master's in data sciences. The importance of data sciences in this industry, especially the fourth industrial revolution, and how can we be prepared for it? So that's the topic of discussion and the webinar today. Moving forth, so I'll just start. Okay, basically, what is the industrial revolution? So the first industrial revolution was like the years were like 1760. It was the 18th century till 1784. And what generally happened was that steam engine and steam power was used to mechanize the production. The first steam engine, the locomotion, and that was discovered. Based on that, what happened was that like the automation processes and the mechanical processes that involve human labor, they were replaced by machinery. So that was like a mechanical process, and that was the start of the first industrial revolution. Based on that, what happens is like when you're talking about the industrial revolution, what happens is like whenever there's a revolution, something gets replaced in mass quantities, and it just changes the entire dynamics and the entire system of how things work. Um, but what so like this was the first industrial revolution. The second industrial revolution came around the 1860s to 1870. And what happened was the discovery of electricity and mass production. So like not only industry was discovered, it was used, it was commercialized, and the whole industry started to revolve around the consumption of electricity. So a very classical example was like for the first industrial revolution, the mechanical process and the transportation industry. For example, animals such as horses, such as cattle, bullocks, and other animals were used to facilitate for transportation, traveling, and everything. But the with the steam power that was discovered, and they used it to mechanize things, locomotion, trains were built. So it didn't start in the capacity that the horses or the cattle were evolved into machinery. No, no, the steam power was discovered and the other industry was rendered useless, absolutely useless, because that just replaced the entire system. The mechanical processes were replaced altogether from scratch. Secondly, the
I'm very
development of
sorry to interrupt, Mrs. N. Can you
right,
please slideshow? Can you please slideshow it?
slideshow. Can you not see the screen?
It is not in slideshow mode.
It's not in slideshow mode. Okay, sorry, just a moment. Right, yeah, right there.
Okay, good.
Okay, thank you so much. Right. So, right. So, like, as I was talking about the Industrial Revolution, what the concept is that, like, one thing replaces the other altogether. Like, there's like a complete change of a paradigm. One thing doesn't evolve or grows into another something better. It just one thing comes in and just wipes out the entire existing systems. Then comes in the electrical power. So like light bulbs, they came and they just replaced the existing power, and that was candles. So like people used to wick up a flame on the wick of a candle or like lamps or anything, and that was just replaced altogether. So lamps were not evolved to becoming a light bulb. The light bulbs came, and the candles and the existing systems were replaced. Then comes the third industrial revolution that was using electronics and information technology to automate procedures. Computers were basically built. They were like in the early computers, they were as big as a room, and they were very static, and they could produce and compute so much information that um, generally a big team of people could not actually process that much information. Uh, and then they would like load batches and all that. So like uh, people like it's not that one thing just comes in, a computer age comes in, and it just replaces everything. And every decade from 1960s till 2020, that's like so many years, like about 50 to 60 years from now, from then onwards. So what happens is like the computers are so fast now. The smartphone which you hold in your hand is faster. It has more memory. It has more processing power. It has more kick to it than the computer that was designed to send a man to the moon. So like, and this power that you hold in your hand in this form of a smartphone, it has so much capacity in terms of processing, in terms of memory, in terms of so many different things. Like it has about 10 to 20 years ago, there were different gadgets, that electrical gadgets that were used. For example, if a person wanted to make a video, they would have a video camera. If they wanted to take a photograph, so they had a different camera for that. If they wanted to record something, they had a voice recording device. If they wanted to calculate something, they used to have a calculator. If they wanted to take notes, they would have something else. So like a culmination of about 50 to 60 devices all in one platform. And because I teach at different institutions, and so basically what I was going through a book written in 2010, and they were defining like different communication platforms, VoIP, chat rooms, instant messaging, so on and so forth. But what do we see in today's time is like we see one application that does everything. WhatsApp is a very commonly used application, and it's now popular in the business community as well. And they've launched a business version of it as well. What is WhatsApp? It acts as a chat room for students and teachers and business community in the form of groups. You can send instant messages, you can send voice messages, you can send video messages, you can send audio messages. You can have an audio call, you can have a video call, you can have a group call. So many different things that were just concepts. Now they're bundled up. They're packed into one simple, free to download, and definitely not free to use. Why do I say that it's not free to use? Because your privacy, your information, everything is now being displayed and being publicly, because we take ownership and when we're downloading it, we sign in on the contract or the agreement form that yes, I agree to the terms and conditions, that I am giving up my privacy and everything to these companies. And so that's just the information age. Now we're moving into the fourth industrial revolution. And when did it start and what's going to be the age, we were not sure. But since like 2015, actually since 2014, we have stepped into the industrial revolution, that is 4.0, industry 4.0. And it's going to be characterized by a fusion of technologies, both physically, digitally, biologically, so on and so forth. So, like, if you saw the video earlier on, you can see my picture that I wear glasses. What is happening is that these glasses, which I put on my nose, and like I just keep it on my nose, and they're the legs extend to my ears. What is it doing is augmenting my vision, because generally my eyes are like weak, and I cannot see a 6 by 6 vision or like with that. But what these glasses do, these spectacles which I'm wearing, they're augmenting my vision to the clarity, to the point that I can now see 6 by 6. I can now drive at night. I can see things. I can read things from a distance. So these glasses have not basically altered anything from my body, but what they're doing right now is just augmenting my vision to make an impairment better. So what's going to happen is, with different technologies and gadgets and different enhancements, we are going to see a lot of biological changes within our bodies and in our in our businesses and so on and so forth. So like, this is just the introduction to the industrial revolution. I'll move to the next slide. What is it going to impact? The 4.0 industry 4.0 is going to impact the economy, is going to impact businesses, is going to expand the nations and the nationality and the locations and the regions. It's going to impact society, and it's going to impact the individuals. So this is the impact that, like, I've just basically classified it into 5 different areas. There can be more regions. You feel free to disagree or agree with me. So I'll just go on and explain how are these things going to be affected. So the impact on the economy, the growth, the employment, new skills, and nature of work. We are facing that on a very global scale, and we're facing it on an individual scale as well. The economy is going to change because there's going to be a paradigm shift, and we have already faced it. I'll start by giving an example of different companies. Like industrial revolution, like it started we don't even know when did it start. So, but we're just in the midst of it, and we're going to start seeing a lot of changes. Nokia, a decade ago, more than a decade ago, like about 2 decades ago, was a company of cellular phones, the first generation of phones, smart, and they were world leaders in innovation and technology and everything. But the advent of smartphones, they came and they just wiped the entire concept of the existing GSM phones or the other phones that were that were not they were not classified under the smartphone. So one phone did not really just evolve into something. One technology comes in, wipes out the existing technology. So this is something very alarming, and the growth in the past 2 years with respect to technologies is so exponential that it's alarming. Because earlier on, the revolutions or things, they would take about decades or even half a century or even a century to come in. But the changes that have been made in the last 10 years, and especially the last 2 years, since 2018 and till 2020, they are so rapid and so fast that it's scaring businesses, it's scaring big companies, it's frightening for small business owners, that we don't even know what's going to happen, and it's scaring the governments, it's scaring everyone. And with the current event of the coronavirus, the COVID-19, we see impacts on businesses, like on the economy as well. Like those businesses who had adapted to the changes of technology, their businesses grew. Like the rich became very, very rich, and some businesses just collapsed. Like they didn't even know what happened, what hit them. So like this is the impact of technology, the adaptation of technology when it comes to the growth. Yes, it'll be like spikes of growth. So like some businesses, they will like really reach the skies, and some businesses will just shut down if they don't move with the time. So, and employment, we've seen that like a lot of people, like those professions that we never thought that technology could be involved in it. For example, like bakeries, or like doctors or engineers or construction workers, how can they work from home, right? That's a big question. And so like employment was affected due, especially during the COVID-19 peak and the lockdown and everything. So like, and what new skills like are we expecting from the market? So like, so there'll be like basically a change of different skill sets. Like a person in these days, they would require a jack of many trades, if not all trades, and you can be a master of one. And the saying goes that like a jack of all trades, master of none. But sometimes the jack of all trades can easily, surpass the master of one. So like if you master one skill and you don't adapt yourself to the changes of industry, to the nature of work and everything, you will be outdated very soon. And the nature of work, like you can work from anywhere now. Economy is like, you can literally work from anywhere. Different, especially the IT industry. Uh, you don't really need an infrastructure, except for like the construction or the manufacturing or any other units that require the infrastructure. But the nature of work is definitely going to be changing, and we see this change in the COVID period. So that's just the economy. So like, let's just move on to the business. The customer expectations, they, because of the technology, because they are so aware of the entire procedure of how things work. Like a customer is much aware of how, has a deeper insight of the business knowledge. Like they know that, like, from, for example, you order something online. So from the moment that you purchased it, you can each actually see it. Like if you use if you go to marketplace like Amazon or Alibaba or Daraz in Pakistan's case, you can actually see that which vendor has basically put it up online. So and then when you purchase it, purchase any item, for example, I purchase like a smartphone, for example, and I place the order. And what happens is, like, from the point that I checked out my order, I made the payments, I can actually track the delivery, that the item has been noted and it has now left the vicinity of the vendor. And from that point onwards, we can keep track of the delivery or the logistics, and we can just keep on moving, and we can find that where the product is at the point. And if it's, and once we've received it, there comes a notification, and on our smartphones especially, that the product has been received. And they even say that the logistic companies, that who is the person who received the order. So I mean, this is like the customer expectations has increased. They have a bigger insight of the how the business actually works. Earlier on, they're like, and then there's like, if in Pakistan, cash on delivery is a very popular method of payment, because we like to pay things when we receive them. So, and that's just how things work. Like in the Western world, they pay up in advance. That's safer for them. Safe mode for us is like, we prefer to pay cash on delivery. So that's just how things are. And like, you have, the customer has a lot of expectations. They are actually guiding the business owners how to improve their business. So That's good on the business side, that's good on the customer side. But at the same time, some customers, not all customers know how to actually improve the business. Some have no sense of how the business is actually running. So not all feedback is positive. Some negative feedback is also good, but generally one should listen to it, but not necessarily adopt it or follow it. Then the data enabled products, like if you see any online shopping store, a lot of information, especially like when it comes to, like, for example, if especially you want to buy a used product, you go on to Alibaba, you go on to AliExpress, the retail version of Alibaba. You go to Daraz, and if you see a used product, what happens is that the information is there. Like you can actually review all the information. You can have a look. You can even have a feedback of the people that have actually bought from this vendor. They have, so, like, I mean, it's data enabled and it's data driven. So, and that's like how can you actually, like, it's a very strange system that you're buying from a complete stranger. You have never met that person. The only thing which get to see is as an online picture. You don't even see you cannot touch the product. But and the best part is you're relying on the feedback of strangers. Like, how many people have actually bought the product, how many people are reviewing it, and what is the feedback. So, like, you're buying from a stranger, you're buying a product that you've never touched, and you're trusting strangers. So it's like it's a whole new world. Earlier on in business, especially, we would prefer to go with the things which we could touch, we could feel, and we would rely on the feedback of people who we knew, or some people who've actually bought it. So here, like, there are three unknowns. You don't know the product, you don't know this buyer, you don't know the seller, and you don't know the customers whose feedback you're relying on, and yet we trust them. We trust the feedback of the people. So I mean, this is the power of data. This is what happens. It's like, generally not everyone can, the concept basically behind it is that not everyone can, be fixated on a lie. Someone will come up and they will speak the truth. And then there's like new collaborations. Like I mentioned, there'll be like a mix of businesses. It'll be different product owners. It'll be like an IT infrastructure. The logistics will be involved. Then there'll be delivery guys. There'll be cash on delivery services. I mean, so many different collaborations of businesses they will have to team up. Earlier on, what would happen is, like, if there was like a small business owner, he would have like, like, for example, there's a burger joint nearby. So the in-house, the product itself and the recipe for making that burger or a sandwich, that was there, owned by the shopkeeper or the business owner. And he was the accountant, he's the sweeper, he's the sales guy, so many, so on and so forth. And just because of COVID, and because of the delivery services, what's happened is that different collaborations have occurred. Like, so they will have a logistic, like Food Panda, Cheetah, and others, delivery service, or they can have their own riders come up. um, so, and they take their orders and they deliver it. So, like, it's a collaboration, and especially those people who want to make online payments. Fintech is very popular these days. Like, you can make payments using Jazz Cash in Pakistan, or like in like Easy Pesa, and so on and so forth. So this is a new collaboration of businesses that did not exist earlier on. So, like, they say business is a team sport. Now your team members do not have to exist within your premise. They could be team members, like, you can collaborate with different business owners. Like, one can say that, hey, I manage the logistics. One can say, I manage the financial services. One can say that I can provide the inventory. One says I can, provide the brick and mortar location and whatnot. So, like, it's a collaboration of different businesses, and so on and so forth. And that's just like this is what the technology has done. It has really scaled up businesses to dimensions that were not thought of, like, earlier on. And then, like, the different operating models, businesses now, they work 24/7. They don't work like 9 to 5, or especially the restaurant industry or any industry for that matters. They have online portals for complaints and all that. And those businesses that do not provide a 24/7/365 day support, uh, they will definitely not be able to survive in the longer run. So that's something which I can safely say. So people who are going to be in business, they need to come up with a very different strategy for like operating and managing their businesses. And now, like people really want something really fast. Like it says, the now world requires companies to respond in real time wherever they are. So that's something that we're used to now, that like we want an instant reply. So even if it's a message that says that thank you for your time, your query is now being processed, and an agent will be with you shortly. So the first time of response, that's like really critical. Earlier on, like there were only a few businesses or like tech companies or support companies that used to provide this service, or they could hire this service. But now with the changes of business dynamics, what's happening is that every business can now afford to have these services, that even like they can have them free of charge. They can be chatbots. They can be like trained program scripts that respond to a few frequently asked questions. And artificial intelligence has just made things so much better, and also so much worse for a lot of people. So this is just the impact of business that's going to happen. Impact on nation, on national level, what's going to happen is like disruptive changes are redefining how the public institutions and organizations operate. Because like I'll just focus on the COVID area, especially because earlier on the digitization, like like in Pakistan, especially because we live in Pakistan, and I live in Lahore. So and this is easy for me to explain, like the examples that come to me naturally. So what happens is like the public is now much aware, and gone are those days that you could wait and you could just think it out. And you had the time to think and to study to make things. No, the problem has come, and we need to find a solution. Earlier on, what the research paradigm was like, people could actually think of a problem, and then they could find a solution. They could like create like a hypothetical problem, and then they could have a solution to it. But things with the advent of technology, what's happening is that the problem has already come. We are not ready. We were not ready. We were not prepared. And how could we be prepared? Because these things did not exist. That data could be a problem. This was never thought of. How can data actually be a problem? You know, and because like how can data be a problem? Because now there's so much data. There's an overload, and then there's a surge of data that we never thought was possible. So we did not see this problem, and this problem has basically come, and we're now finding these solutions to it. So hence the science called data sciences has been found, because the problems have come, and we are now basically looking into the solutions, that this is a problem, we need to find a solution. COVID-19 is a very very classical example. The corona novel virus has come, and those companies that the whole world is actually racing to finding the cure. And like even the most developed countries like America, China, Russia, UK, Japan, they're like Singapore, you name it, they're the most technologically advanced, and the most advanced in the terms of medicine and all that. They have not found a solution to it. So this is what's happening. The problem has come, and we need to find a solution. All right, so this is the impact on the national level. I'll just talk about like the impact on society. And
Mr. Zain,
yes.
sorry to interrupt, but I must announce that the second attendance sheet has been shared. The
Okay.
second attendance sheet has been shared. Thank you, sir.
All
Please
right.
may continue.
I may continue, or you want me to pause?
Yes, yes, yes. You may continue, please.
All right. All right, so I'll just share my screen again. If there are any questions, I can take questions right now as well. or I can take them at the end. I'll take them at the end.
Okay.
So now the impact on the society. What's basically happening is that the biggest change for the society is how to absorb and accommodate the new
Okay,
modernity
the slides are
while
not visible. Slides, please share
are
the
not.
slides. The slides are not visible.
Okay. Let me just stop sharing. Okay, let me stop sharing and I'll just start sharing again because I stared the screen. I'll share it again. Just a moment. Let me know when you can see it. Can you see my screen?
Yes, please slideshow.
Okay. Can you see the screen now?
Okay, good to go.
All right, all right. So the impact of society, what's basically happening is I'll just conclude. I'll try to finish it up in 15 minutes. Then I'll be open to questions. All right. So what's happening is like the impact on society. What happens is like how do we embrace the change? Because earlier on, like 2 decades from now, we did not have so many things to choose from. Like even when it comes to professional life, we didn't have much of a choice when it comes to food, when it comes to clothing, when it comes to entertainment. We didn't have so many choices. Like you take cricket, for example. Cricket used to be a World Cup after every 4 years. And then there were test matches that would be held up to 5 days. And they weren't like being held so many times. Like, but just I find it very difficult to actually keep track of cricket. I love cricket, but I don't even know what's happening. It's like it's a double wicket tournament, it's a T20 tournament, it's like PSL is coming, the World Cup is coming. I don't know. I mean, cricket is like it's gone crazy. Like so many different rules, so many different changes have come up. So like, what do you choose from? We are being bombarded with a lot of choices, and so we don't even know what's happening. So similarly, like when it comes to enrolling in the education sector, students are overloaded with so many choices to choose from. Even in Pakistan, like for example, if you look at the IT industry, and especially the universities like UMT or the University of Lahore, or like any other, even fast newses, they have so many options to choose from when it comes to IT. Is it like and if you like, they're holding like bachelors of computer science, bachelors of software engineering, bachelors of IT, bachelors of data sciences, bachelors of artificial intelligence. I mean, what program do you actually enroll in? That's like, that's so many things to choose from. And like one of the programs or the other program is basically a variant of the other. But like, you look at cars, for example, like so many vehicles to choose from, you know, and the prices are very similar. And one product has like, it's like technology has basically made our lives easy and also very difficult, because you cannot choose from so many things that are available. You choose a smartphone. I've I switched to the iPhone back in 2004 earlier on, because I was a very staunch and uh, ardent user of open source technologies, the Android phones. But like the phones that just came, and they're like so many different variants to choose from. I don't even know what to decide. So easier choice for me is that I just adapt to the latest iPhone whenever I can. But other than that, Android phones, oh no, I cannot decide. I don't even know like what to decide from, what to choose from, like which phone is good. And like it doesn't even matter for the price, and there's so many features to choose from. So like, this is a big problem, and this, how will the society and the members absorb the changes? How will they basically know what's good for them and what's happening? And then like, belonging to a community is more defined by personal projects and individual values rather than space, work. People like, they're like me centered. Like the last the last point in this slide, due to digitization, what's happening is, uh, the I in the iPhone or the is basically independence, that you're empowering users. Any product holder of an iPhone, whenever they see someone else holding an iPhone, oh, they say, oh yes, he's of the same clan. You feel you feel empowered. You feel like you feel connected, that this person has made a good choice. Like PC personal computers and MacBooks, like these are the two popular machines. Even though, like, personal computers, they some of them have like really awesome processing power. They have like, they really outdo a Mac machine. But generally the development community and the business community, they prefer to go for a Mac, with even though they lack the processing, they lack the space, and so on and so forth. But it's still there. It still provides them that function, that I am giving myself a privilege, that I own something that's different. So, like, um, the parameters for a society and how things change, they're changing now. Like, earlier on, it was defined by where you used to work, or the family, or the space, like, where you live. That's that's very different now, because um, there can be a person that whose demographics show that he cannot like, the vehicle of choice could be a motorcycle, but that person can have the latest of iPhones. That's like, more, more expensive than this his vehicle and the gadget which he's holding. So that's just the preference of choice these days. People prefer to have gadgets that are really expensive now, and that's just is a symbol, a status symbol. And we give it to our kids, and as well. So it's a complete changer. Like, everything is changing these days. What's happening, what's not happening, where we don't know what's. And then I'll just move to the next slide. Impact on an individual. Like, the fourth industrial revolution is not only changing what we do, but also who we are. Everyone, with the power of smartphone and social media, we have now the power to actually define our own identity. Every user needs to have a login. Anyone using a smartphone will have their own unique identity. That's and like and with the camera, with like access to different social media platforms, you can actually voice your concerns. You can actually show the world that who you are, and whatever version of yourself that you want them to see. It's not just what we do, it's just who we are as well, as people on the internet. Like, I see this person physically, but what is his digital print on the internet? Does he exist on the web? And another parameter for people is that if the person does not exist on the internet, chances are that they will not likely be known well in the public. But people who exist on the internet, they're more popular with the masses. Like, and chances are that they will get, like, if it's a business owner, yes, they will be able to get business. Teachers who are popular on the social media, yes, they are liked by students more, even though they might not be able to deliver as well as those teachers who are delivering very well in the classrooms. And that's just how things are, and it's going to impact our identity in many aspects. Our behavior, how we behave towards people, how we behave towards, like, it's very disturbing that some people, like myself included, that whenever I post a comment or my own content online, I am inclined to getting more likes or reaches, because, like, the more likes I get, the more thumbs up signs I see, the more hearts or the more emojis or emotional gratification that I receive, my behavior is elevated. But whenever I post something and I get no response, and I see that so many people have viewed it, that really is changing my behavior. That's changing my emotions. Privacy, yes, we are signing up to displaying everything about ourselves to these companies. So, like, privacy is like, that's something which I really like. I would like to keep a lot of things private, but sadly these devices, what they're doing, they're breaching our privacy. Like, they will, you know take note of your personal conversations and even bombard you with advertisement based on the chat that you're having with your family or your friends. So like nothing is private anymore if you're using their channels, and their channels are like widely used, and it's very very difficult to avoid them. Ownership, what do you even own? Do you own your own data? Do you own any pictures that are in your own phone? No, they're not. The ownership goes to the cell phone companies and the owners of the. I mean, and look at the smartphone. It's not just one company; it's a group of companies. From like who is accessing the GSM card, the GSM SIM, to the motherboard, to the processor, to the camera, to the memory, to the glass, that fine finish that you feel that on the touch. So many different companies are involved, like which camera is involved or built in, which speakers or the microphone. So many different companies, they've come in and they all have access to your data, you know and where is that ownership? Who owns it? You don't own it, I don't own it. Even though I've bought the phone, but I don't own that piece of data. I cannot, if it gets lost or anything, or if it's being misused, or if it's I am being abused based on that, I have lost ownership of that data. Who owns it? In Pakistan, that's the case. In the UK, the government has ensured that the people own the data, not in America. And the consumption, consumption behavior, you need to update the smartphones like every time there's an update. There will be an update on the operating system, and there will be an update on the applications, so on and so forth. And like time for work, time for leisure, everything has changed. Based on the consumption of technology, based on the consumption of things like time for work. You work remotely now. You wish to work like independent of your office, and the concept of freelancing is taking over. And time for leisure, especially. Generally, we used to have planned vacations, but that's not really very much possible these days, because you know these devices are consuming so much of our leisure time. Even if you're with friends and all that, you gather together, but I would see people, instead of talking to each other, they're talking to their phones. So that's just alarming. You sit in a family gathering, you sit with friends, you're everyone is focusing on their phones. That's something very very interesting and very alarming as at the same time. And I'll move to the next slide, that adapting to the emerging technologies. So these are basically some of the technologies that have basically artificial intelligence and intelligent automation. What we want to achieve from artificial intelligence is basically intelligent automation. And then there's blockchain and cryptocurrencies. That's also an emerging technology, because it's not that we have to adopt to them. These technologies have to come, and we as consumers will need to be very mindful of that, what we're adapting to. And then there's data sciences. Data is now really a problem right now. Big data is a big problem, and data sciences is the solution to that problem. Digital marketing and internet marketing. If you're not able to market yourself, this is for businesses. This is for actually even for schools, teachers, and even students. If they don't know how to leave a digital impact or imprint, they might not exist. And it doesn't mean that it's publicly available, right? If a student is enrolled, like, because I teach at different universities, so if they're not enrolled in the LMS, the learning management system, chances are that I might not be able to grade them based on that, and so on. And the Internet of Things, you know, do you know that like IPv4 and IPv6, 5G is coming, and there will be like an impact on how we consume things, how we manage things, how we do things, based because the internet has just is going to be available for everything. Our remote, our fridges, air conditioners, our cars, everything will be on the internet. So based on that, like, we have to make the changes, we have to adapt to the technologies before we get redundant, before we're like overthrown. And so, and like, I'll just conclude to Next slide. I think that's it from my end. If there are any questions, I'll welcome them. And that's it from my end. So, and thank you so much. This is my email address. If anyone wishes to ask me anything, you can please do that. I can stop sharing the slides if you want.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Zain, for such a wonderful talk. The question answer session is open now. You may ask the questions. Okay, we have a question. Hi, trust this finds you safe from corona basic aspects of in revolution or discussed and revolution or discussed. Will you be discussing machine learning relevance to energy projects like solar, wind, power projects?
Okay, so basically, the question which I've understood is like, thank you for saying, well wishing me that I'm safe from Corona and everything, and I wish you safe and health for you and your family. May Allah and may God protect you from the coronavirus and all the implications of it and the complications. Um, they're talking about the industrial revolution, like they said, they like machine learning and relevance of energy, especially like solar or wind. That's like renewable energy. um, Machine learning is as a solution to a specific problem. Not every solution is based on just if machine learning is applied, we get the solution. That's not the case. So thank you everyone for the well wishes. So machine learning, it comes to power and energy. Yes, machine learning may be applied to a specific case. For example, the consumption. When it comes to generating power, yes, we can actually find out that what are the off peak and on peak hours and solutions that, like, this is the ideal time to consume energy, or to basically make hold of, like, so like machine learning is applied, yes, but not to every solution. That is it is the only solution. Okay, so there's a question: is there any development
Okay.
in fourth IR for biological medical fields in that sector? Absolutely. It's an ongoing process. Like I said, the glasses which I wear, and our esteemed Mr. Arslan, the guy who's chairing the talk, these glasses are basically augmenting our vision. Without them, we can see it, yes, but can we see it as clear as a 6 by 6? No. But are they basically replacing our eyesight? No, they're not. They're just augmenting it. They're making it better. So with the advent of these smartphones, what's happening is that they're making our lives better, but we are also dependent on them. For, like, if I want to drive at night, I cannot drive without my glasses. So that's the downside of these things, that, like, I have to be very careful. From a medical point of view, yes, there are so many advancements, like, treatments that, like, leproscopy is basically, it's like, you just make a very small incision inside the patient, and based on that, it's like it's driven by a camera, and the people, actually the doctor is controlling the entire robot, why a robot arm and a machine. He's not even inside the patient. So that's the advent of technology, and it's just going to get, like, even better. Okay, so they said, what do you say that the right first approach we should take for digital transformation, use technology? First of all, know what you're getting yourself into. For example, if you work for any industry, the first approach is actually knowing what you're getting yourself into. For example, these social media, the smartphone. What Mr. Simon Sinek, the writer of Start With Why, let me just show you the book. I have it right there. Just a moment. So the author of this, Find Your Why. This is the second book. So Simon Sinek, if you can see it, he suggests that social media and these smartphones are like a drug. They're like alcohol. You must consume them very maturely, very wisely. So what do they say is that, like, we consume it, and we use the social media very, just like how we use alcohol, just like we use any other thing that's there. So you must know when to use social media and when not to use social media, because I and there's I think I answered the question, or I don't know. So okay, do you think that if we implement blockchain management, then we can control the security breaches, or is there any other solution to over this problem for security breaching? Okay, I generally am a follower of the conspiracy theories as well. My understanding of blockchain is that it's a solution not for the best interest of the people, but it's for the best interest of the people who are designing the blockchain. It's an open source technology as well. If you can build your own blockchain, then use it. Otherwise, we're just going to be adapting to the technology that is going to be provided by a third party, and they will have access. For example, if you were smart enough to build your own smartphone, you would have all that data. But since I use an iPhone and I use Google and other so many different platforms, I'm giving everything to them. The thing for me is to make my own smartphone, to make my own emails, to make everything and keep the data secured for my own usage. So I am not safe with this. With this smartphone, I am not safe. Not at all. Because I'm giving everything away. So blockchain, if you build your own blockchain, very good. I give you double thumbs up. But chances are that not every one of us will be able to build a blockchain to the level that we can implement it countrywide. So yes, you cannot hack this phone very easily. It takes a special kind of effort required to hack this phone or to hack Facebook or to hack. So based on that perspective, yes, it's very secure. But from a consumer's point of view, are you secure? As myself as a consumer, I am not secure. I'm not secure to these guys. I will never be secure. I will never be safe. But yes, uh, I know 5G is coming in before 6 years. News flash, it's going to come next year, 20 because 2021 March, Pakistan will have satellites launched by Elon Musk himself, SpaceX project, and we're going to have it before 6 years. Any other questions?
So there is another question from Aisha. How blockchain will disrupt data science?
It won't disrupt something. Its data is like, um, so Aisha, if you're a student of computer science, so and what we did, and Mr. Arslan is also technology based. So what I'll just draw on, like, because I have, and this is like link. So linked list was basically link one, link two. So I'll just basically show you a diagram of, if you can see it. What's happening is that, right here is the link. This is a block, this is your data right over there. So when you're traversing a linked list, I would recommend that there are two things. Like, one pointer is pointing to the next logical block. You don't really have to have a contiguous allocation of memory. This is what distribution of, they will have a distributed system all over the world. This is how I perceive blockchain coming up. You cannot hack the blockchain. Yes, you and I cannot hack it, but the government will not have access to it. But the people who are creating the blockchain, yes, they will have access to everything. So what is going to happen is that Pakistan will be one block, India will be one block, China would be another block, Bangladesh would be another block, America, US, so and the whole world will be different blocks. They will have a unique ledger owned by everyone. They will be able to see that, what's going to happen, and the entire data of Pakistan will be in that block. The entire data of India would be in that block. India might not be able to have access to Pakistan's data. Pakistan might not be able to have India's data. Yes, secure in that context, but whoever controls the entire blockchain controls everyone. So, okay, how can this technology overcome COVID-19? No, it will not overcome it. It will just, I am not denying the advent of the virus, but the lockdown and the cure that they're suggesting, I am very skeptical on that. Technology is just going to make things worse. Who are the people who are actually controlling this technology? That's the question. Um, is it going to overcome COVID-19? What is recommended DNS? I really don't know the recommended DNS, because can you write your own DNS? If you can write your own DNS, that's the best part. But because I don't trust these third-party solutions, they say you might be anonymous, but the fact of the matter is, yes, you can. I can cloak my face. I can just say that, I can put this on my face, and just say, I'm speaking, but you can only have an idea. What's happening is that, there's a male who's speaking, but we cannot see his face. That's the best cloaking that you can do. Recommended DNS, I don't know. I don't trust the routing mechanisms used by these companies. What VPN is recommended? Again, make your own VPN. There is no recommended VPN because you're going to be using a third party VPN and they're going to have everything, your information. Difference between data management and data sciences. Data science is the entire umbrella that includes data management. So like there's like data engineering, from data collection to data creation to management to processing, data engineering, making analytics, and so on and so forth. So that's just there. Any other questions, Mr. Arslan?
There's a question: difference between data management and data sciences. I think you have answered
That's
that.
what I just answered.
Okay.
I just
Okay,
answered
I
that.
think the questions are over now. And thanks to the audience for making it such an interactive session so far. And now I would like to ask for a feedback from our honorable guest, Mr. Zan, about the webinar and expertise. So your feedback would be very valuable for us. So please give us a feedback.
Thank you again for this, for having me on board. And it's very difficult on the Sunday evening, especially because I'm a family guy and this is family time. But I wish to know that if I can make a difference in the whole world is my family. So like if I don't become selfish and just focus on a small family, I can address a lot of people, because if I don't speak and if I don't point out things which I know, I'm not contributing to my bigger family, and the whole world is my family. So from my own nuclear family to a bigger family, thank you for giving me this opportunity, and I hope to be able to give a message out. My personal message is be so technologically advanced that you are not a slave to the technology. If you don't know what these phones are doing, they're doing more harm than good. If people like, because cycling is, what is the speed of 5G? You can Google it, Zubair Usman. There's some questions that you can Google, and Google will give you a good answer. It's not on the top of my head, but it's really really fast. Like it's faster than any speed of technology that you've actually used. And IPv6 is basically is going to be implemented using 5G, and that power is so great. I cannot even fathom to understand what is going to happen when we get that technology, and what are our kids going to do, what are our students going to do, what's basically going to, and that's what's alarming at the same time. Any other questions at the moment?
I think no. Sir, thank you once again for such a wonderful session and giving us
Thank you.
your some of your precious time. And it was
No
a
problem.
wonderful talk. It was very knowledgeful and very technical. And I hope audience has enjoyed it and gained many things you have shared.
Thank you so
Again,
much.
thank you so much, and
Value.
I would like to thanks the audience once again for making it such an interactive session. And that's all. And thanks everyone for joining
Thank you so
us.
much.
And have a nice weekend and good night.
Good night. Thank you so much. Take care.